month to go for phase 1 of polling in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, political temperatures are heating up. A day before nomination, and trouble has already begun in Congress and National Conference Alliance. Amid the tussle over seat sharing, the party rushed troubleshooters KC Venugopal and senior leader Salman Khursheed to hold talks with Farooq Abdullah. According to sources, out of 90 assembly seats, National Conference is offering only 35 seats, while Congress has demanded 37. National Conference has also offered a friendly competition in some seats, but the Congress remains apprehensive about that. Meanwhile, all is not well with the BJP either, which is facing rumblings from amongst its own. The BJP initially released a list of 44 candidates for the three-phase election, but deleted all within 2 hours after protests and unhappiness by certain sectors. They have now released a fresh list with only 15 names and followed it up with another list of just one candidate. No changes have been made in the candidates picked for the first phase. 3 key names were missing in the now deleted list, among which include Jammu and Kashmir BJP President Ravinder Raina and former Deputy Chief Ministers Nirmal Singh and Kavinder Gupta. The BJP has also announced its star campaigners list, which features Prime Minister Modi in the lead starting September 18th. Jammu and Kashmir will see its first assembly election since 2014, which is also going to be likely the shortest in several decades. A first since the abrogation of Article 370. And I'm going to be joined by a team of panelists at this time. But for now, we have only Dr. Pooja Tripathi joining us as a spokesperson for Congress. Good evening, Ms. Pooja Tripathi. Early starters gain for you, I must say. So to begin with, what should I start with? Should I start with the firefighting within Congress, or should I start with what seems to be the Congress in the middle of two arch enemies? You can choose your pick.
I think it's not an either-or situation. We are part of a very formidable alliance. I saw you introducing that there's tussle in Congress alliance and there's tussle in BJP. I think it's a completely polar opposite situations. While there is definitely friction, there are two formidable partners, a national party and a very strong regional party. Elections are happening after 10 years, and there's some seats. There's some problem with 5-6 seats, and I'm sure the troubleshooters that sent from Delhi will resolve it and will come to a proper conclusion. What's happening in BJP is something that should need to be discussed. There's absolute revolt at the party headquarters over the first list, which was retracted within 2 hours, and then people are burning posters of Prime Minister Modi ji and Amit Shah ji and saying that leaders parachuted from NC Congress have been given tickets, while the Karyakartas who've been toiling hard for last 10 years haven't been given. And that's not a surprise. The 2024 Lok Sabha elections, BJP saw 63% leaders that have been parachuted from the party, and the result is for us to see. So I think the problem that needs to be discussed here is how Bharatiya Janata Party is a mess now. Is absolute. There have been fault lines. We beat on the ticket distribution, and this list was announced after a high-powered central election committee chaired by Prime Minister Modi himself, and they had to retract it. This speaks volumes about it. Now, as far as your second question goes, PDP offering to provide support, to have an alliance, I think let the High Command take a call, let the senior leaders take a call on this, that we want to go with the PDP-NC alliance or not, and I think it would be unraveled in a few days.
Sure, but let's just look at the dynamics that's playing out. I'm also waiting for Mr. Hussain, who's a senior BJP leader and should be joining us shortly from now. But Dr. Pooja Tripathi, to what you have said about the High Command deciding what's going to happen with PDP for that matter, let's also look at how KC Venugopal, of all the people, has been sent down to Jammu and Kashmir for this troubleshooting. You wouldn't have KC Venugopal sent off to troubleshoot if it was really not hot pot of mess.
As I said, Sneha, it's a very high-profile elections. It's been elections are being held after 10 long years, and both while Congress is a very big national party, National Conference also formidable regional support, and I'm sure KC Venugopal must be the perfect choice. Is the perfect choice for bringing out differences, and there would be differences, as it happened with India lands going into 2024 elections, there would be differences because there would be some seats because every Karyakarta will stake its claim. They have been on the grounds for 10 years and everyone will stake its claim. But I'm sure the winnability of candidates, the party high command and both the leaders across the table sit and decide. And
That's
everyone will follow and
definitely
everyone
something
will
that
go.
you'll have to look into, the winnability for sure. But let's see, while you're downplaying this and saying this is just one-off thing, I'm also being joined by Mr. Hussain. Thank you very much for joining us. One very quick question, and you just missed out on what Pooja Tripathi was saying right now. She said BJP is a big mess right now. Within 2 hours, it has had to retract all its list. I mean, let's face it, BJP has gone ahead with this election in Jammu and Kashmir, all guns blazing, believing that they're going to win it, particularly after the head start, what they believe is for them after the abrogation of Article 370. But look at the protest that's happening in Jammu and Kashmir by your own party men about names being para-dropped.
Good evening. It's very nice. A kind of festival going on in Jammu and Kashmir, and obviously the people, there will be resentment within the party also because our party is a disciplined party, but mostly you don't like out of 10,000, a few people are protesting. That doesn't matter so much. Right now, what matters is Congress and all other parties are trying to each an alliance, and they have failed because they have their own personal agendas, and it's only BJP who is doing wonderful over in Jammu and Kashmir. And I'm very hopeful that BJP, under leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, will be getting our own government by 5th of October.
Okay, no, but let's look at this. I mean, Congress has often been on the back foot with these kinds of protests playing out, and Congress would often say in defense of them that they are a democratic party. It's not very often that you would have these kinds of scenes playing out when a BJP list is out. Would you say that BJP is on the back foot for possibly what they themselves have called a historic election?
No, it's not about that. See, we have a kind of survey team within our this BJP who does survey on ground. Whoever people like to elect, his name is recommended to higher authorities. It's not like Congress where a few people sit together and then decide we're gonna contest assembly elections. But in BJP, I'm very sure
But
there
Pooja
has been a lot
Tripathi
of
has a totally
groundwork.
different opinion from what you're saying. Since you missed out on what she said, let's just listen. And I mean, I would want to listen to Pooja Tripathi as well. Dr. Pooja Tripathi, you have your BJP.
Very democratic.
Yes, you have your BJP
So
panelists here saying very clearly BJP is a very democratic party and ensures that, you know, all the people, their dissent, their names are all, the recommended names are looked into, and that's why the party had to retract the list.
No, it's not like we're not retracted the first list. What came out is very. They were included in that list which
let
was
Dr.
deleted.
Pooja Tripathi speak, sir. Sir, let Dr. Pooja Tripathi speak. Sir, we'll get back to you. I'll get back to you for a response. Please go ahead, Ms. Pooja Tripathi.
So very democratic party, Shreya. So much democracy that, you know, they have been going gaga over application of Article 370 and they could not field one single candidate in the valley. All three candidates were outsourced. So very democratic party. This the extent of democracy is since June 4, 2024. There have been 18 terror attacks leading to loss of lives, and our esteemed soldiers have lost their life. But so democracy that they haven't said a word on it. So I think it's fair to say that it's democracy, and we have never seen this. You are right. We have never seen this. What you say, indiscipline, but then there's always a saturation point. The way Bharatiya Janata Party has been going it, you know, getting leaders all across the parties and ignoring their own cadre, is there had to be a tipping point. There had to be a saturation, and it was a proper out and out revolt at the Bharatiya Janata Party headquarters that they had to retract the list. Democratic and a disciplined party where whatever Modi ji says is something that everyone abides by, had to retract a list. Democracy is out there in the full, and I'm sure the whole next month the democracy would be out there in the whole display.
Mr. Hussain, do you want to respond? Do you want to respond to what not just the Congress is saying, but political parties across the board, your rivals are saying, from candidates being outsourced to a revolt right at the face of BJP ahead of elections?
No, what I try to respond is, See, Ms. Pooja was saying that we didn't get a seat in Kashmir, but I should respond. They contested in 2 seats of Jammu and Kashmir, and they lost both the seats. They were ruling from past 30 years. What they did? Why people rejected Jammu, this Congress party over there? And they were very hopeful that they will get some seats, and even in alliance they failed. And second thing I want to respond is he was speaking about killing of our soldiers. It is our BJP party who did Balakot strike. Congress never dared to speak against the terrorists. And second, the separatists which were groomed in Kashmir. They
It
used to meet
wasn't a
Prime Minister of
party, though.
Congress.
It was a
Yeah,
government.
and
But
then the alliance.
nonetheless, okay,
Listen, please.
let me just get in Advocate Ahmad Ayaz at this point. Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, these elections are happening at a very crucial junction. Of course, it's the first since the abrogation of Article 370, the first assembly elections. Let me be correct there as well. There's also by elections already that's happened. The first assembly election since the abrogation of Article 370. Jammu and Kashmir is literally on the verge of getting its first democratically elected government since a very long time. If I'm correct, since 2018, it's going to be the first government that's going to get the state government. It possibly is a step towards statehood, but it's also a very peculiar political scenario for political parties, irrespective of which camp, which part of the divide they come in. It is a challenging political landscape amid what seems to be also a growing. How do you look at the political landscape right now, Dr. Ahmad Ayaz?
Obviously, it looks to be more challenging for the BJP right now on 2 counts. One, that they have been claiming of abrogation, things have been normalized and people are happy and everything is done. And this is the one claim they have been making, and then they could not be in a position to field candidates in the parliament election. Also, that indicates that they have possibly realized or sensed the ground, and as I said, they could not field even one candidate, and the people to whom they declare their support, and they too had to, face worse kind of situation as we could see. That's one. Second, that considering that the second challenge which we find in the BJP now is we have never seen, even if whatever decisions at the top level they have taken, they have brought in very new faces in the past, and they have made them very raw. They have made them even cabinet ministers, and there was no issue. There was no problem. But today, BJP is in a crisis compared to all others, and which was in fact unexpected of BJP being a grounded and well organized party and disciplined party, and unexpected of them. And with the claim that our party is not for self-interest, they are for national interest. They are for the party. They have a commitment, and today it is seen on the ground that people are fighting that as to why we are not getting mandates. I mean, these are the challenges so far as the BJP is concerned, and much more than any other party. So far as the other parties are concerned, if you take NC and the National Conference or other parties, we find there is anything much to be done. Why? Because the National Conference will be doing better in Kashmir, followed by PDP if there is no factor coming in as far as Engineer Rashid is concerned. And BJP would be doing good in Jammu, followed by the Congress. So, as such, BJP of its own may not be in a position to form the government. And as such, the coalition, the people alliance between National Conference and the Congress perhaps aims only to see that they keep BJP out as a precautionary. Otherwise, there's no issue. But it looks the factor of the India bloc is working more particularly and more seriously the way we see that there is no possibly alliance being done as on date.
That's interesting.
And Congress, and then we see that very senior leaders like Venugopal, I perhaps he's Venugopal, I don't exactly remember his name, right, that Khurshid, Mr. Khurshid, the ex-minister. I mean, a lot of people are coming in to see that
Right.
some patch-up is made. So it
No,
does
I
not
get
look
what
so
point that you're
serious
making. Let
as
me
well
also
as
get Mr. Hussein's response to this.
Can you
Right.
please,
I
because
mean, look at what
the mic was very low.
Advocate Ayaz is saying. Mr. Hussain, let me ask the question, Mr. Hussain. So, I mean, it's interesting what Advocate Ayaz has said. At the end of the day, what he is saying, BJP has not seen these kind of protests, even though leaders, particularly who may not be locals, have been para-dropped earlier as well, have been given prominent posts, but you are having protests now. But secondly, you also have a former ally that, of course, had a bitter fallout with the BJP and the government, PDP, now extending an olive branch to the Congress and NC, that to NC, which is its arch rival, at least in the regional scenario. All India scenario, they may be part of the India bloc, pro-India bloc, all that and so forth. But at least when you come to the local sensibilities, like you don't have Congress and the left openly allying together in Kerala. Though they are part of the India bloc nationally, at least they are bitter rivals. PDP and NC are bitter rivals in Jammu and Kashmir, and you have PDP extending an olive branch to NC. Isn't that itself a big setback for the BJP for starters?
No, I'm not saying it is a setback. I'm telling you, it's like taking every precaution so that they will come into power. But we have seen their alliance before. PhD, they formed
And
that
keep
PhD
BJP away,
and
is what they claim.
Let them claim, but people have rejected him. Our NC president Umar Abdullah got defeated. Our Mehbooba Mufti, one president of other party, got defeated. So they are trying to save their own skin, their own party. They're afraid of BJP. They don't want to contest alone. If they contest alone, they're mostly out of game in coming elections. So they will try to get citizen alliance between all these parties. First, they used it before 5 years. They used it to contest against each other. But now time has come, they are coming together. That is BJP doing wonderful over in Jammu and Kashmir. And BJP is growing. That's why they are afraid of BJP.
Okay, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, last response from you.
I think we should remember, Sneha, that Mehbooba ji with her daughter and both Abdullahs, Umar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah joined Rahul Gandhi in Bharat Jodo Yatra, and they were very strong part of the India alliance. So there have been two political permutation and combination, and it's very funny when my fellow Bharatiya Janata Party spokesman talks about, they're not fearful of anybody, they're not afraid of anybody. That was exactly evident when they didn't any of the seats from the valley in the local election. That fear was evident across the country. So we are very much prepared. The decision on alliance will be taken by the senior leaders of the party, and I'm sure there are many processes to take before forming a seat sharing plan. But I'm sure we will fight this elections very strongly as a collective force.
Right. All right. Mr. Ajaz Hussain, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, as well as Advocate Ahmad Ayaz, thank you very much for joining us. This is just the beginning of what may be a huge political saga unfolding for a very crucial election that's going to play out in 3 phases in Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us.